Electronic Arts is the video game publisher company that receives by far the most hatred in the entire gaming community. They won the Consumerist's Worst Company of America award 2 times in a row, a prize which is normally claimed by companies like Halliburton, an oil corporation that made billions of dollars of profit with the Iraq War, or the broadcasting and cable company Comcast. The list of EA's accusations is long. Ripping off millions of customers with dubious business models, subsequently taking long-beloved franchises to their graves, marketing campaigns that severely damage the gaming industry's image in the eyes of critics and adversaries, buying, ruining and closing legendary studios like Origin, Westwood and Bullfrog, and repeatedly, openly and knowingly lying to their customers. The list goes on. But you know, the internet is full of hatred, blind anger and uncontrollable rage, and a fire that burns hot enough can't be extinguished by water alone. It's because the water molecules get split into hydrogen and oxygen, which then increases the intensity of the fire. Where was I? Oh, hate. Yeah. You know, hate gets you nowhere. It makes you look ridiculous, makes you foam at the mouth, and solves absolutely nothing. I think it's time we give Electronic Arts the chance of a fair trial. So this episode's topic is EA the big bad wolf of the gaming industry? Hello everybody and welcome to RagnarRox, where we put the biggest publisher in the entire gaming industry in the dock. As I've mentioned before, the list of reasons why people hate EA is long, and this isn't just a trend of the last few years. The first major stain on EA's reputation is, in the eyes of many people, buying some of the legendary developer studios of the 80s and 90s, stripping them of their artistic freedom, forcing them into rushed release schedules, which led to unfinished and unpolished games, and by that, destroying them and eventually closing them down once they weren't profitable anymore.
It is unfolding very quickly.
Westwood Studios, founded by Brett Sperry and Louis Castle in 1985, was a developer that defined the real-time strategy genre with the ingenious first 2 installments of the Command & Conquer series. They were bought from Virgin Interactive by Electronic Arts in 1998. In 2003, only 5 years and a handful of commercially disappointing titles later, the studio was closed. Bullfrog, the developer studio behind Peter Molyneux, which created highly acclaimed games like Syndicate, Dungeon Keeper, Populous, Magic Carpet and Theme Park, was acquired by EA in 1995, with Molyneux taking the role of vice president of EA. The developer was effectively closed down in 2004. Origin Systems, Richard Garriott's developer studio, creators of the beloved Ultima and Wing Commander series, was sold to EA in 1992. Only 8 years later, the company was merely a shadow of their former greatness, whose only task was creating new content for the latest Ultima installment, Ultima Online. Their doors were closed by EA in 2004. Liquidating 3 of the most famous developer studios in gaming history in a time frame of only 10 months was enough to establish the universally accepted opinion that EA ruined these companies with their iron fist. But is that what really happened? Electronic Arts, of course, stated that they left their stars all the freedom they needed. But no one believed it. I didn't believe it. Especially not when you heard Richard Garriott blaming his former publisher for the downfall of his company again and again. But in recent years, a long time has passed and things were able to cool down a little bit, some very credible testimonies have come up that cemented EA's defense. Peter Molyneux, Louis Castle and even Richard Garriott himself all tell more or less the same story. EA brought some much needed structure to our product greenlight and development processes, and we certainly got bigger budgets. We were able to do more and cooler things that we've been able to do before. We doubled the size of the company from 200 to 400 that first year. We went from 5 to 10 projects to 10 to 20 and staffed those projects almost entirely with inexperienced people. It won't surprise you to learn those projects were not well managed. That was totally Origin's fault. We failed and we ended up killing half of those products. Louis Castle from Westwood Studios tells the same story. In short, these companies were crushed by their enormous growth, which is, for any company, always a risky business. To quote Richard Garriott, EA gave us a lot of rope. Enough to hang ourselves, as it turned out. So, in this case, Electronic Arts is innocent. At least according to the accusations. Sure, they were involved in the downfall of these companies, but not in the way people think they were. So, part 1 of our hearing ends here, but the trial's not over yet. In the next episode of RagnarRox, we will investigate the critique about Electronic Arts' latest business models, their marketing department, and their perception of the truth. Until then, keep on playing, and see you next time on RagnarRox.